COVID turned the world upside down, and Columbus is no different.
Now the question is, how do we meet all of these needs that have elevated in so many areas that haven't receded? Usually after a hurricane, the storm surge goes back, and it's not going back. So how are we going to help the helpers meet those elevated sustain needs? If we can't answer that question positively, then I don't know what the state of the sector will be.
COVID had a really challenging and pretty devastating impact not only on our patients, but also on our staff. So about 20% of our staff ended up taking family medical leave. So that had an impact on the number of patients we could see and the number of sites that we could keep open.
Being impacted and still having to show up to work, knowing full well that somebody else also needed you while you're burying a loved one, while you're holding friends' hands as they're burying loved ones. As you hear the stories of our community members also struggling and suffering, losing homes, losing their American dream, it can weigh on you.
I mean, honestly, this last year has been a struggle. It has been a struggle just trying to do all of the normal things that we do day to day, but then having to add in, thinking about how do we provide services, how do we balance, safety, how all of the additional stressors of just like everything that happened in the past year. So I think it's been really hard.
It's been hard. It's been hard because the individuals that we serve, we're only seeing them through technology and in a video or on the phone.
And what we had to take a step back and think about is how much trauma was happening during the time that we were closed, how much change and upheaval happened for a lot of our families, and make sure that the classroom is that first space that we could wrap our arms around someone and say, it's okay, it's going to be all right, and we're going to get through this.
I think the most important thing for people in Columbus, people in this community to understand is that while we're talking about getting back to normal, the people that are experiencing trauma, that are unstably housed, they're going to take longer to recover. This is going to be an ongoing problem where we're seeing more people coming in for help, more people coming in with needs, and we're going to have to be able to meet that demand probably for the next 5+ years.
Nonprofit organizations in particular just do not have enough funding, and needs keep growing. Our population keeps growing here in Central Ohio, and so we really need to influence the government sources of funding that they need to invest more.
I think COVID really helped legislators understand how valuable we are, that we not only are providing the services for their constituents who may have lost their jobs, may have lost their home or have been evicted, that these are the organizations that connect their constituents to the services that they need so that they can continue to thrive.
I have seen on several occasions that the legislature is listening to their communities more. Their communities across the board have diverse opinions, which is why we have debate in our General Assembly, but they've definitely rose to the challenge and listened to what their constituents need, which is important, in the past year, definitely more so than ever.
There was such an awareness of the need for just compassion and human kindness during the pandemic. When there is a real need, the community does know how to rally and support those who are doing the work.
Well, I think when disasters hit and bad things happen to people, one of the really unique things about our culture as Americans is that we pull together and we find ways to deal with those challenges and move forward and do better afterwards.
Let's not forget the times when we came together and got something accomplished, and checked in on someone just because those were dark days. And as we're moving towards the light, let's continue to do that and bring that kind of community base into this next chapter.
The silver lining, if you will, is that we've now begun this dialogue across the country about the importance of early childhood. And I think we're getting closer to actually moving and enacting big sweeping change for the sector and for the good of our littles, both today and for tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to what's next. I'm looking forward to working at an organization knowing that we can make a difference in people's lives.
Probably like most people in this field, if I weren't hopeful about the future, I probably wouldn't do this kind of work.
I think sometimes you can have the most hope when you're in the most difficult situation, because you're either going to give in or you're going to move forward.
I believe there's hope, and I believe there's community. And as long as you have both of those, I think we can succeed together.
I think one thing that can come out of this that I've learned about the city is that Columbus doesn't have to follow anybody else. We don't have to be like anybody else. Columbus can be the model for the rest of the world to follow if we do what we need to do to become the city of the 21st century that nobody has become just yet. And I don't know what that looks like, and it's hard to get there. It takes a lot of investment of time and energy and strain and working together, but we can figure that out as a city. And I think we have the people in place, especially young people, that are eager to get us there, and we have to follow their lead.